What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Derek, aka Flippingahouse, and today I'm actually in front of one of my rentals. This is a very bittersweet moment because this is the first house that I actually purchased, closed on myself in my name, and it's just very bittersweet because I never thought I would sell this home. But I'm going to tell you today why I'm going to be selling the home, the benefits, and what we plan to do with the equity or the money that we are making from the sale. But let's go take a look inside. So initially, we got this home under contract back in 2019, and I specifically remember it because Ben and I both came to the appointment and locked the house up. Now, at the time, the seller's wife had passed away, and he had just been collecting items. He was really like a hoarder, but it wasn't that bad. On a scale of 1 to 10, he was probably a 3. And we came in, we made a fair offer because the home was in very bad condition when we bought it. But at the time, we got the home under contract for $65,000. And then when I realized I was gonna keep it, I just ended up paying Ben an assignment fee of $10,000. So I was all in around $75,000. And at the time, I had just been referenced a private lender. So I met him. This is one of the first deals that we did together, but because we had so much equity, he was willing to take that risk on. Now, because I was able to get it so cheap, he actually gave me the rehab budget as well. So not only was I able to get 100% of the purchase, he funded the rehab. Now I had to front the front end of it, and I just ended up getting a credit card. But because of real estate and because of having good credit, I was literally able to come into this home, buy it, and basically did the BRRRR strategy. We bought it, we repaired it, I rented it, and then I refinanced it, and then we repeated. And I've done this with multiple properties since, and I even made a video of it back in the day. If you want to check it out, when I first bought this home, check it out right here. But I say all that to say, it really changed my mind and perspective on real estate and just how I view deals and how to make deals happen and get creative with it. So since I had bought it at a good price, I went to a lender here in Houston and I got what was a DSCR loan, and I got approved for everything. But at the time, Ashley had a really good paying job and we were both in the LLC together. So I was like, hey, let's just do a traditional refinance so we can get a better rate and we can cash flow more money. Now, when all was said and done, I walked away from closing on the refinance with a $27,000 check. So think about that, guys. I was in a house completely free. I had to put maybe $15,000 down initially to do the rehab, but then I was reimbursed. And then I went to refinance because I had found a tenant and I was paid $27,000. And on top of that, I had a tenant and the home was cash flowing around $250 a month. Now, with things going so well, you're probably like, why would you even sell the home? Well, that was 2019, guys, and now it's 2025. It's been 6 years almost since I bought this home, and a lot has changed, not only in my investing journey, with my family growing, and just with the goals that I have on what I want to do in the future with real estate. Now, with the market changing dramatically, since 2020 and rates going up and down and sideways in every which way, it's really changed my outlook on my long-term investing strategy. I mean, when I bought this home, guys, I honestly never intended on selling it. I just wanted to keep growing my rental portfolio because when you're buying rentals, you're typically looking to gain equity or cash flow. And back in 2019, you could honestly get both here in Houston. But unfortunately, we're not in that market anymore and a lot has changed. So one of the first reasons that I'm selling this home has to do with tenant turnover. I know this sounds stupid, but in Houston, the average tenant lies and scams on their application due to prior situations or whatever it may be. But if you guys have been following me, I've been scammed multiple times, and we have a very nitpicky system when it comes to finding tenants. And this is one of the reasons why we switched over to the Section 8 business model when it comes to rentals. But this home is in a nicer area, and even though I could do Section 8, it takes a lot longer to find a better tenant. But what I've learned is they stay a lot longer. Now, throughout the years, I've had 3 sets of tenants here at this home. One was with me for a very long time, and then the other one did a short stint, and then I had a tenant that stayed for 2 terms. So since I've owned it, I've always had a tenant in it, but every time we overturn, there's 3 or 4 months that I have to cover the rent. Next, let's talk about cash flow. See, if you've been in real estate for a while, cash flow is non-existent. It's fugazi. It's not real. And the reason I say that is because initially I was cash flowing $250 and things were great because we had just rehabbed the property. But about 3 years in, things started to break, wear and tear, hot Houston summers. We had a summer 2 years ago where the average temperature was 115 degrees. So when you have a home, the AC, the insulation, like all these things just start to get pressed. And that was for 3 months out of the summer that it was that temperature. So with AC maintenance, having to redo insulation, and just minuscule things throughout, all the cash flow that I was making at the end of the year, we basically broke even. But because I had bought the home so cheap, and initially when I bought it, they appraised the home for $230,000. That's how I was able to walk away with such a big check. But over the years, I've gained a lot of equity, and now the home is worth upwards of $300,000. And now with the market shifting and taking losses and flipping, just all of these things have started to add up, and I've just started to view my investing strategy different. And then I had a really great talk with one of my private lenders who's been in real estate for almost 30 years. Now, something that he reminded me is, Derek, you can't get emotional. He was like, one of the ways that I built my wealth in real estate is through buying rentals, and every 5 to 10 years, I'll take that equity, sell them, pay my taxes, and then I started lending money. And when I look at my long-term goals, it has always been to be a lender, because the lender is always in charge. The lender always gets paid. And over the last 2 years, we've taken significant losses and flips, but you know who always made money? My lenders. So after that conversation, me and Ashley got together and we were like, hey, let's sell this house. So we put it on the market, and we're thinking, because it's in Spring Branch, it's completely remodeled, it'll sell quickly. But once again, this was end of 2024, and the house is just sat for 7 months now. So for 7 months, I've had to pay my mortgage and this mortgage, right? And that comes into about $6,000 a month. So it really starts to add up when you include taxes, insurance, everything. We've had some other maintenance, and then I did end up spending about $5,000 on repairs just to redo the shower. But everything else had pretty much been remodeled in 2019. So Ashley and I sat down and we had to talk about what our future plans is. And we realized we don't really have emotional attachment to any of the rentals that we own, and that we want to buy more in the future. And because the market has been so upside down, there's a lot of opportunities coming our way, but you need some cash in the bank to make some of these things happen. Not that you always need money to buy a rental, but we want to buy multiple, and to be able to go faster, quicker, we need money in the bank. On top of that, I told you guys there's been a lot of changes. My son is a teenager now, so in the next year, he's going to be going to high school. We want to move, and my daughter is getting bigger, right? We have a daughter now. I didn't have a daughter when I bought this house, but we need more room in our personal space. So we've been looking at buying a bigger home. And so the reason why we're selling it isn't really just one reason, it's a multitude. It's higher property taxes, higher insurance, tenant turnover, how hard it's getting to find really good tenants that aren't Section 8, and then just maintenance overall, guys. You're really never gonna cash flow in today's market. Unfortunately, it may look good on the books, but all it takes is one big thing to break and you're out of money. This is why it's so important to save money and have reserves when you have rentals, because it's not if something's gonna break, but when is it gonna break? And with our goals changing over the last 5 or 6 years, we just realized we need to cash out. We need to take the money, pad our savings, and prepare for what is to come, which is a bigger personal house and more rentals for us. So because of all the equity, we were able to list the home at $280,000, and we went through a couple contracts, which is normal in this market. But now we have a buyer, and tomorrow they're gonna close on this home, and we should walk away with a check over 6 figures. Now, the only part that does suck about that is I'm gonna have to give a big chunk to Uncle Sam, but that's part of the world that we live in, right? Everybody has to pay taxes, and it is capital gains, but we have other assets to offset those, other write-offs and things like that. But it's just a part of real estate. But I'm sharing this video because I want you guys to know you should never get emotional about properties that you own, and you should always be talking to people smarter than you that can help you make a decision that serves your future goals. Because our future goal is to, have some rentals, but really we want to be lenders. We want to own more and be able to make money in our sleep, and our lenders always get paid back. So I would really like that feeling, because we've been hustling really hard over the last 5 or 6 years. But the thing that I've realized is it's always okay to change your investing strategy, always look at things differently, and realize that there's always going to be opportunities. If you're constantly looking for off-market properties, properties, you're always going to be able to find deals. And over the last year, as the market settles out, we've been able to find some great properties that I want to be able to purchase, but the rates are still just a little bit high, which is why we want to pad the savings and be ready to pull the trigger when we do see those opportunities. Even if rates are still a little high, you can use cash to buy down the rate and other ways that you can get creative as well. So will I be selling all of my rentals and, you know, moving to an island? Not at all. We're going to sell a couple of them. We're going to pad our savings, and over the next year, we plan to buy 2 or 3 more rentals and replace the ones that we are selling. And then also, like I said, we're continually looking for a bigger house for us, and we have about a year till my son goes to high school, so it gives us enough time to prepare. But I wanted you guys to see that real estate always is changing. The market is changing, cash flow is changing, equity capture. The beautiful thing about living in Houston though is the equity capture. Like the fact that this home has went up, you know, around $60,000 in the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm able to capture that on top of the $27,000 that I got when I closed. I mean, guys, at the end of the day, this deal will net over a 5.5 year time span, you know, close to $200,000, some tax-free, some not, but that is the power of real estate. Now, if you guys made it to the end of this video, I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications because I drop new videos like this every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Until next time, guys, peace.